But seeing them, I'm like, I want to be able to like have what they have and work for it myself and just show them that like I didn't just take everything that they gave me for granted. Like it impacted me to want to be my best that I can be and like be in a good place financially when I'm graduated from college and when I'm older. I think really a main thing is just finding that balance and like if some of my friends are like, hey, I can get this, I'll cover them. And then I'll just be like, you can pay me back. Like my mom has always said, the one thing she told me is like, it all comes down to wash.
It does.
And that's something that I've always used with my friends is like, we're super close. Like if I get this for you, you know, get your meal, it's fine. Like you can get me something, like you can get mine in 2 months.
So what would Vivi as a junior tell Vivi as a freshman that you know now?
I would say one thing that's always kind of, I feel like been on everyone's hearts a little bit is it's not that serious. And at the end of the day, like it's not really going to matter in, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years. Like it might matter in the next 5 minutes and that's kind of it.
It's time for another edition of the Financial Puzzle Playbook with your host, Jim Sumpter. I'm RJ Malik, producer of this podcast, and the heart of your podcast, Jim, is the 6 puzzle piece playbook. So what piece of the puzzle will you be discussing today?
Yeah, thanks, RJ. First of all, it's great to see you. And today we're going to kind of go back to the beginning. We're going to discuss cash flow. We're going to do a 2-part series with our guests today. And the first part will be more cash flow. Then we'll get more into investments in part 2. But I have with us a very special guest. This is Vivi Spotswood. Vivi is the daughter of Shannon, who is our CEO at RFG Advisory. And you are a rising junior in
Correct.
College. And so she goes to Ole Miss.
Hotty toddy.
Okay. That good SEC rivalry we have here. And so, Vivi, welcome. I am super excited to have you. I know we've talked about this a little bit.
It's been a while. It's
been back and forth.
Coming.
And
yeah.
This one is a long time coming. So let's get to know you just a little bit. So you're a entrepreneurship and finance major.
Correct. Yes.
And marketing minor.
Yes.
At Ole Miss, hotty toddy, the whole thing. And let's, I always start off with some sort of a question. And today for this episode, we'll start off with, what would be your walk-up song? If music were playing, what would we be listening to?
Okay. So my walk-up song, I think would be Electric Love. Just because I am known, like all of my friends would say I have very high energy. I'm kind of like my mom in that way. I never run out of things to say or I'm never just like chill. So I feel like that would be kind of a good song too. I've got a lot of, electricity coming off of me.
A lot of energy.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Well, with that energy, why don't you sort of tell us a little bit about how did you grow up? Where did you grow up? I know you haven't always lived in Alabama.
Yes.
And siblings, things like that. And then kind of tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get to Ole Miss?
Okay. So I was born in San Francisco, California, and then we moved out into a little suburb when I was like, I don't know, a couple years old for my sister. She was born there. And so then we moved when I was 8, going into 3rd grade. We moved to Birmingham. Okay. And then we went back to San Francisco for like 2 or 3 summers, kind of because my parents were like, what have we just done moving, from California to Alabama? And I so vividly remember it was like my first time seeing all my friends since I had moved. And they're like, oh my gosh, do y'all have electricity? Do you have running water? Like, do you get around on like buggies and like have horses and everything? And I was like, yeah, so we do have electricity and running water. That is one thing that Alabama does have.
We wear both shoes, and most of us have all of our teeth. So.
Right. Most, exactly.
Right.
I'm like, my friends do call the shopping cart a buggy, though. I will say that one.
Okay.
And that one threw me for a loop. But so we moved here, and then I went to high school in Alabama, and then I toured Ole Miss, and the first time I toured it was actually a really funny story. I went with my dad, and I stepped foot on the campus, and it was like over winter break, so none of the students were there, and I was like, I hate this place. This is so weird. There's no one here. I'm like, no one likes the school because no one's here. And my dad was like, yeah, like we're not gonna go here. So I literally we were supposed to spend the night and like spend a whole weekend there, and I made him drive up and drive home the same day because I was like, I'm not going here. So then my mom was like, okay, that was not fair. Like you need to go back. And so I toured like SMU, Ole Miss, Georgia. I did kind of all of the other tours, and she was like, and I just never like found a place where I was like, this is it. Like this is it. I was like, everything has its places, but I don't know. And so my mom was like, we need to go back. We need to go back to Ole Miss. And I was like, okay. So we went back to Ole Miss, And I mean, it was like the immediate, like I walked into the Grove and I was just like, yep, this is it. I was like, I like literally remember my mom will tell the story and she was like, you came back to me and you're just like, I found my home. And I was like, yes, I did. So I went and I didn't know, I knew 2 people and I wasn't really close with them. So I was just kind of like going, I was like, I didn't know anything about Rush. I didn't know any of the sororities or anything. And I just kind of went. I was like, you know what? I want something new. I want to be able to like make my own friends and have my own life and not go in the state, but not be too far away that I can come home. And so I just went, and it has been the best gift of my life. I love it so much.
And you're about to be a junior, so into your
That's
third year.
third year, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Do you know more than 2 people now?
I mean, a couple. I know a couple more.
A couple more
Yeah,
people.
no,
Okay.
but I love it.
All right. So that's how you got there. How did you choose your major?
So I don't know. So I was originally a business major,
Okay.
and I was like, "There's so many business majors." Like,
There
I
are.
mean, Ole Miss is business and marketing, and nursing. But so I was just like kind of going through it, my classes, and I was talking to my parents a lot. And my dad had always said, he's like, you would be really good in finance. My mom, like, obviously she's so in it that I was like, I don't know, like I don't know much about it. And he was like, just like think about it. And I was like, okay. And so I was talking to my friends and they were like, finance major, because like not many people at Ole Miss are finance majors. We're just not known for that. And especially girls. And I was like, you know, I'm doing it. And I was already kind of thinking about entrepreneurship. And I was like, why don't I just combine the 2 and then add a minor? And so now I kind of started off because I was like, I want to be able to say I'm a double major. One of them is finance with a minor. And now that I've started doing it, I really love it. But it was a little bit of just like, everyone was just kind of like, oh, like you're not going to actually make it in that. And I was like, yes, I am. And I'm going to do both.
And I'm going to do both. That's right. That's right. You have some of your mother in you with that drive and initiative and things like that. Yeah. So that's really cool. You know, and that's one of the things about this particular podcast is it touches people from all ages, all generations. You know, we're going to talk a lot about sort of your age group and sort of some things that you guys are seeing very different than mine because I'm Gen X. Okay.
Right.
And your parents are Gen X. And you're not.
Right.
And so we're going to kind of go through some of that as we get into this. But let's talk about mindset.
Okay.
I think that, you know, I've told this story many times that because I was a finance major, I was an economics minor. I actually have a minor in Japanese as well. That's a much longer story. We could probably do an entire podcast on that. And I know very little today. But I do have it. It's a credential, okay? And so I did it for different reasons. But what I really wish I had done is taken more psychology classes. Because the mindset, I believe, when you're working with clients, when you're working with someone that, you know, they're talking about their finances, their family. A lot of times I'm working with different generations.
Right.
You know, I know your grandmother, I know your parents, I know you. That's 3 different generations, and all 3 of you are very different.
Oh, yeah.
And your mindset is very different, and your attitude towards money is very different. So that's what we're going to focus on today is sort of that mindset and the money. But let's start with your money story.
Okay.
Tell me, how did you grow up with, as it relates to money? What was your philosophy with money? You know, we were joking in the lobby a little while ago about girl math.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a new thing.
Yeah,
So I have a daughter that is basically your age, Cassidy. And she talks about girl math, and sometimes girl math and dad math do not add up. They do not. And so, but let's kind of talk about sort of how did you grow up, that philosophy, and that is what kind of molded you probably to where you are today.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will say I grew up very, very lucky. My parents, they worked very hard for everything. And so we grew up, like, me and my sister both rode horses, and we took family trips and everything. But being the oldest, I've always been really, really close with my parents, and they've like shared a lot about it. And I've always just kind of like observed them and seen how hard they work. Cause my mom, she's done it all. I mean, she's done clothes, she's done like banking. I don't know. And same with my dad. Like they both have done so much. And it really like just hit me that both of them came from like families that had nothing. Like they were eating, you know, Wonder Bread and peanut butter for meals and just trying to like get out of the house and like survive. And then, I mean, I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful about it. So that's been one thing that's really motivated me and always kind of stood with me is like, I am very blessed where how I've grown up and everything. But seeing them, I'm like, I want to be able to like have what they have and work for it myself and just show them that like, I didn't just take everything that they gave me for granted. Like it impacted me to want to be my best that I can be and like be in a good place financially when I'm graduated from college and when I'm older and just really show that like they've made an impact positively and it didn't go for nothing. Like their hard work is so inspirational to me.
Right, right. And I know both of your parents, and
Yes,
they do work very, very hard.
they do.
They also play hard.
Yes, they do.
And there's a great mix
Mhm.
there, and it sounds like they've taught you very well.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this: when you got to college, because you had a money philosophy, and you did meet probably more than those two
Yeah.
people that you
Yeah.
knew. You
Yeah.
met new friends that may or may not have grown up the same way that you did.
Yeah.
Um, how did y'all have those money conversations if maybe you were able to do something and they weren't, or they were able to
Right.
do something and you weren't?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
So one thing that has always helped me is I've always worked. I started working sophomore year, right when I got my license.
Okay.
And I've always worked in retail. So it's
Okay.
just, that gave me a little bit of a perspective when I was able to see like what people were buying and how like they would come in and like talk to me and be like, oh, I can't afford it. And I've always been someone that like, I can afford it, but like, it's very much like, don't overuse that, if you know what I mean. And
Okay.
so when I got to college, it was a lot of both sides. Like I've got some friends that are just like, oh my gosh, they've got private planes and, whatever. And then I've got some friends that are just like, oh, I am eating out like once a week and like, or not even, like I'm not eating out because I'm trying to save and everything. And one thing is I've always just been like aware and just trying to like be my best of like, if I'm buying dinner out, then I'm not gonna shop this month or like just kind of giving trade ups. And I think that's a lot of like what me and my friends have come to understanding about is like a lot of us don't go out to eat a lot because we're going to go, get a dress for a date party that we have coming up or something like that. And so I think the main thing is just like we kind of all talk about it and we're like, okay, like if we're going to go to dinner, like I'm just going to get an appetizer, like we can split it and just kind of finding the medium for everything. So it's not like, oh my gosh, we're going out and eating all the time and then buying all these dresses and everything. Cause it adds up fast. Like it is
does.
like game days and all the things and the sororities and everything. Like, covers and all the things. So I think really a main thing is just finding that balance. And like, if some of my friends are like, hey, I can get this, I'll cover them. And then I'll just be like, you can pay me back. Like my mom has always said, the one thing she told me is like, it all comes down the wash.
It does.
And that's something that I've always used with my friends is like, we're super close. Like if I get this for you, get your meal, it's fine. Like you can get me something, like you can
Right.
get mine in 2 months. Like it all comes down the wash.
Right.
So
Right. So it sounds like what you've done is sort of indirectly budgeted.
yeah. Yeah.
So do you keep a written budget or how do you
I've
do
tried.
that? Okay.
But it is really hard in college because I'm like going grocery shopping and then getting this and then like it's so hard to keep track of because it's just so random.
Mhm.
So I really just like my dad is very much on my look at your end of the month statements and let's not make it that again.
Yeah.
And so that's but I really just try and be mindful like in the day to day and then like just kind of figuring out like a lot of, my dad and I would have some talks about my spending on workout classes because I would be trying like 6 in a different week and he's like, that's $30 of drop-ins for every single day this week. And I'm like, okay, yeah, so we got to get a package and, just chill out a little bit. So I feel like it's really just, I tried to keep it written, but it doesn't. In college, you've got so many other things going on that it's really just trying to be mindful.
Okay. So do you have, do your parents give you like a certain amount? You said you work. Is
Yes.
that your money to do what you want? Or does that go towards things? Or is that fun money? How do you do
That's
that?
a little bit of like kind of saving up for just to have something like to me, like I made this. And then I do buy like, if I want a bag or if I want, some workout sets and I've already bought like a couple, like, so that's kind of more just, yeah, like fun and like a little bit of like, oh, I'm like building something to have when I
Okay.
graduate, which is just, it's not much. I'm a Pilates instructor, so,
Right.
And worked in retail, but
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So it's funny. So when I was in college, I worked. My parents would give me a certain amount of money
Mhm.
every week or month, whatever it was. Just put money in my account.
Yeah.
Basically, is what they did. And then I worked. I worked at J.C. Penney back in the day.
Yes,
So I was
yes.
in retail.
Yep.
I learned
It's hard work.
It is,
Yeah.
and I learned all about commission. I
Yes.
started. That's where I really kind of had my first job of working
Mhm.
with the public
Okay.
and realizing that different people are different ways
Yeah.
than me, and they're not all the same.
Right.
And so that was interesting. It was also a great
Yeah.
experience. And then I left there and I went to work at a hotel
Okay.
as the front desk. person, and I was making, I don't know how much I was making, but then I had an opportunity when I was a junior in college. I had to take this finance 300 class, 300 or 301 and I was killing it. I had like 100 average. And the professor called me out one day. I went by Jimmy when I was growing up. He said, Jimmy Sumpter, could you come to the front, please? And I'm like, what did I do? I have like 100 in here. I haven't done anything wrong. And he said, have you ever tutored before? And I was like, I don't think I need a tutor. I have like a really good grade in this class. He said, no. Tutor stupid frat boys.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, tell me more. And he said, $15 an hour cash. And I was like, sold. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. It was about 20 years later before my parents ever found out that I did that because that was my money. Yeah. So they still did that. Yeah. So it's interesting because as a college student, you know, a long time ago, almost 30 years now. And you today, we're no different.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So even though we're different generations, the going to college philosophy is still sort of the same. Oh, yeah. I love the fact that you mentioned, you know, that if you go out to eat here, then you're not going to have enough for this dress here or this party here that we need to go to for our sorority. So we won't eat out here. We'll go do something different, or we'll share an appetizer. Yeah. Really, what it's telling me, your generation is no different than my generation. We would share a pizza. Yeah. Or we would do whatever we needed to do. So it's very interesting. The money mindset is really not a lot different. No. Let me ask you this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you about finances like right now that you know and things like that?
I mean, I'm trying. So
you're trying, okay.
I'd say 6.5, 7.
6.5, 7. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know the like details, but I feel like I can kind of, from my parents and like life and always working and having to like, you know, go through all of that, getting paid and whatever. I feel like I got some of it down. But
so I'm going to be later today. I have a client coming in. He's actually the son of a client, which I actually remember when he was born. Okay. So that tells you how long this particular couple's been a client. He just graduated from high school. Okay. So he's moving to college in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to be having some of these conversations with him. It's something that I always do. Then let's fast forward 4 years from now when he gets ready to graduate. I'll invite him back in and we'll talk about, okay, now you've been through college. You're about to get this first big boy job that you're going to have. And one of the things I always talk to people about is you're going to get inundated with this paperwork. They're going to ask you to sign all these different things. Here's your benefits. Here's your 401k. Here's your insurance. Here's your retirement. Here's all this stuff that you get to sign up for. What you'll probably do is you'll call your mom or dad and say, here's all the things. What do I do? Yeah. Yeah. And so do you feel like college does a great job of preparing us for those decisions, or is that something that...
Not at all. Okay. I mean, I haven't taken really any finance classes yet, but everything I know is from studying for the 65 by myself and my parents talking to me. Like and as I said, there's not many finance majors. A lot of my friends are nursing and marketing. And so I know that they don't take any finance classes and any classes really that talk about anything like that. And so, I mean, I've like brought it up to my friends a little bit and been like, how are y'all feeling about when we graduate? And they're like, oh, it'll be good. And I'm like, no, like, I mean, like finance stuff, like we've got rent and insurance and 401ks and all this. And they're like, what? And I was literally talking to my friend actually the other day, talking about something 401k. And she was like, a what? And I was like, and then she was like, and then something came up about a Roth IRA. And she was like, a Rothra? What's a Rothra? And I was like, yeah. So that about describes it.
Yeah. So you do know what a Roth IRA is then? I
mean, I do, but I'm the only one.
You're the only one. Okay. So you're the teacher.
Yeah.
You're the teacher. Let me ask you this, going back to this mindset thing. Is there, because you're in a sorority,
I am.
Okay, is there peer pressure to do things? Is there a fear of missing out, or a
Oh, 100%.
or a FOMO, as your generation calls it?
100%.
Okay.
It's something we talk about in my friend group. So my friend group's like 35 of us.
Okay. More than
And
two.
It's more than
We've
two. It's more than
grown.
two. We've grown a little bit. We've grown a little bit. 2 years we'll do that.
2 years.
And
yeah.
and so, but it's really funny because I've always been someone like I do not get FOMO. Like it's just one of those things where I'm very like a routine person. I'm like, if I want to be out, I'm gonna go out. But if I want to go to bed and wake up at 7 a.m. and go teach Pilates and then go to walk and blah blah, I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna care. But a lot of my friends are really funny about it, and they're like, I have to go out because I can't miss it. I have to go to dinner because I can't miss it. I have to like do this, like go to this date party because I can't miss it. And so it is a really big thing because then it does kind of come into like, oh well then if like you're going to dinner and then you're getting food and then it kind of starts building and building and you're just like, then we look at our bank accounts and it's like, oh, I spent $200 this weekend. Great. So I'm not eating for the next 2 months. Yeah. So there is definitely is a big in college, especially in sororities, like when you've got all of your friends, like you don't want to miss out because you're like, that could be the night. That's the best night ever. And it normally isn't, but yeah.
Right. But that's a conversation that
It
you
is.
have.
It is.
Is it a concern? Or does it just kind of work itself out?
I think it kind of works itself out because, like, I get it. Like, college is 4 years. So it's a little bit of, like, if you want to, like, if you're someone like me and you're like, I don't really care, like, then whatever, go to bed and cook your own dinner. But if you're someone that's, like, always, like, I need to be with people all the time, which I think is totally fine when you're in college, then it is a little bit of, like, all right, like, just know that, you know, when you graduate, like, and you're paying for everything by yourself, good luck. But so.
Yeah. So very, you know, it's, and again, it was no different than it
Right,
was 30
right.
years ago because we went through all the same things.
Hi everyone, I'm Cassidy, the second C in CMC Financial. So dads sometimes get on a roll with this podcast and might forget to remind you about a few things. 1, don't forget to like and share this podcast and leave a review. 2, follow CMC Financial on all of the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And 3, go check out the website at cmcfp.com. Okay, back to my dad. He's probably still talking.
Okay. So as we kind of, you know, jump into this last part of mindset and then sort of begin to wrap up here with this particular episode. Again, this is going to be part 1 of a part 2.
Come back for part 2.
Come back for part 2. That's right. As a freshman and as a rising junior, I would think Vivi is probably different.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So what would Vivi as a junior tell Vivi as a freshman that you know now?
I would say one thing that's always kind of, I feel like, been on everyone's hearts a little bit is it's not that serious. And at the end of the day, like, it's not really going to matter in, you know, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years. Like, it might matter in the next 5 minutes, and that's kind of it. Because one thing I feel like when you're going to somewhere new is everything is a big deal and everything is like over analyzed and over stressed, and you're just like that anxiety builds and builds and everything is just like so new. But a little bit of just like kind of living in the moment a little bit more and just being like, it's okay to, you know, just be yourself and not be so nervous, like kind of try something new. And, you know, it's good to like find your own footing and always kind of have something of comfort that like you can have as your own. So you're not always like kind of basing your self-worth on like what other people are thinking about you and like what, like trying to just like find your footing. Like it always has helped me. Like right freshman year, I became a Pilates instructor that first semester because I was just like, I need something that like kind of gives me a reason, like get up and gives me something else that like not everyone has to kind of give me like, oh, okay, this is cool. She's doing this. And so I feel like it's one thing is just find something that you're passionate about and don't be nervous about like what people are going to think. Because at the end of the day, like, I mean, a lot of people are probably going to think it's cool if you have something that like makes you stand out a little bit.
So as your mom would say, I think that's a mic drop. I think that's an excellent answer because whether it's a Pilates instructor,
Yeah.
whether it's a, you know, I was a band guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Anything,
you know,
anything.
just whatever
Art,
it is
like,
that's your
yeah.
passion. Yeah.
Right. And just like sticking with it. Because I know that like right when you get to college, you're so nervous about like image is everything, especially being in a sorority. Like you're being watched and you don't want to do something that not everyone else is doing because what are they going to think about it? And my friends will all joke and they're like, it's awesome because like we would, you know, freshman year, you're out till 1 a.m. and I would get up and go teach Pilates at 7 a.m. and they'd be like, that's awesome. Like just find something that you enjoy and stick with it.
So let me ask you this. Hopefully a lot of your friends will listen to this episode. What do you think they'll think about what you're saying?
I think they're going to be very much like, Vivi, what? Like, just because, I mean, they know me as very much like, yeah, the kind of the super active, like energetic. And I mean, they kind of this past semester when I started studying for the 65 saw a little bit of like, oh, like she's got school and finance and stuff. But I mean, before that, it was like very much like, no, like you're just gonna like go out and have fun. And what do you mean, like, you know? And so I think that they're gonna be like, oh, you know, that's cool. That's something else. I don't really know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're actually like, oh, school is important. Like we're here for a reason.
Right. I mean, it was the funniest thing. And I was talking to my guy friends freshman year, and they were like asking me about my major. And I mean, I'd known them for like almost a full year, and they had never once asked me about my major. And I was like, oh, well, I'm a double in finance entrepreneurship. And they're like, you're smart. There's no way. And now it's like the funniest thing ever, because they're like, oh, like she is smart. And I just remember it so vividly. And I was like, I try.
Yes. Yeah. So you and what was the is it L Woods that was the yes. So you're the L Woods of Ole Miss. So let me shift back to money just a second. What's the one money tip that you've learned as your couple of years in school that you think that people your age should know?
I think it doesn't need to be all or nothing. So you can, because that's something, I mean, I feel like that applies with money and kind of life in general, is go out and, yeah, as I was saying, just split something. Or, you know, if you're going out to a bar, like have one drink and drink before you go. Like just very much, it doesn't all need to be you're going out and you're going to spend $400, like going crazy. So I think it's kind of just, it doesn't need to be all or nothing. It can be like a little bits. And I feel like that applies to kind of life too. So it doesn't need to be so like serious, routine, everything. Like all I do is school, all I do is work out, all I do is go out. Like it just, the balance is everything.
Okay. I think that's a great, part of this. So last little bit here, some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
1 or 2 word answers are appropriate. So debit card or credit card?
Credit card.
Credit card. Okay. Why credit card?
I've just always had a credit card.
Okay.
And so
do you like the points, or what do you?
I don't know. I just kind of, it's what I've grown up with. And so
Okay.
I'm a little bit of like, I never use my debit card that I have for my own money. I use my credit card. So.
Because you don't pay the credit card bill? Is that okay?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Okay. Venmo or cash?
Venmo. I hate having cash on me. It's one thing, like my friends love it. No.
Okay. Save first or spend first?
Ooh, that one's a toss up. Probably save.
Save.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then you can like feel better about your purchase.
Okay.
Once you saved up for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cooking or dining out?
Dining out. I don't know how to cook anything.
Okay. If you were given $1,000 as a surprise, what's the first thing you would do?
Buy a dress.
Buy a dress. Okay.
My friends know me as a shopper. I am a shopper. Yes.
Okay. Well, this has been fun.
Yes.
We will wrap up episode 1 here. And then we're going to get into some investing tips for your generation in episode 2. But Vivi, thank you. This has been a blast.
Thank you.
And RJ, that's what we've got in this first episode.
All right, Jim, and I'm not going to let you go without talking about being a Japanese major.
Yeah. I have a Japanese minor.
Minor?
So,
okay.
So 30 seconds or less. This was back in the early 1990s.
No. We're going to have a full We're going to do a full episode on that.
We're going to do a full episode, but I'm going to tease it with this. 1990s, Japan was going to take over the money world, the international finance world.
Right.
And I was an international corporate finance major, had an economics minor. And I thought, why not,
Yeah.
And so I took a couple of Japanese classes. I kind of liked it. And then it got hard.
Right.
And so, but I was too far in to where I did.
Yeah, you can't
I
quit.
did quit. I didn't quit.
Yeah.
So I took my classes. I have the minor. And today I know skoshiwa, which means very little. And so, but I do know how do I get to the bathroom? So,
Okay. So you're chilling if you ever go to Japan.
That's right. And I've never been to Japan. So that is a bucket list item, is to go to Japan. So.
Very nice. Very nice. Contact information, Jim.
Okay, so contact information for me, the best way is our website, cmcfp.com, has all of the contact information on there. 205-510-9074 is my direct number, or see us on all the socials, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. So where this part 1 will be.
Yes.
So
Excellent. Very good. Most importantly, thank you for listening to the Financial Puzzle Playbook podcast. We ask you to share this podcast, rate it, and leave a review because this actually helps others find the show. Again, thank you for listening. And for Jim and everyone at Financial Puzzle Playbook, I'm RJ Malik, and we'll see you at the next podcast.